Welcome to another edition of the Headlight Hot Seat Podcast. My name is Per, and I am your host again today. And I am joined on this fine weekend by Shane Erickson. A lot of people know Shane, and not a Tracy guy, right?
Ballatin.
Ballatin guy. Okay, my apologies to Ballatin. I kind of knew that, but I didn't want to jump the gun. We'll start, Shane. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so grew up in Ballatin, as I said. Live here in Tracy now. Graduated in Tracy 2011. Went to Northern State for college, ended at SMSU, and was doing an internship in kind of financial advising with Northwestern Mutual, and that's still what I do today. Married, have 3 kids, live here in town.
We need names.
Lexi, my wife, was a beerman, and we've got Hattie, Leo, and Raylan. So 7, 5, and 3, keeping us very busy.
The youngest one is 3 already?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Watch out. They're going to be graduating high school pretty soon.
I know, that's what everyone tells me.
Talk about your job a little bit. In Marshall, right?
Yep, in Marshall. So, do financial advising with Northwestern Mutual. So I've been doing that for 13 years now, which is kind of crazy. But, excited about that going forward. I'm working on a new partnership, actually, with kind of a business partner in Marshall that I've been working with for many years and working on a buyout there. So I will be continuing to do this for many years.
So in high school, were you a prototypical numbers guy? Were you math? Were you?
Yeah. Math, numbers, went to be an accountant originally. That's what I thought I was going to do. Kind of behind the scenes, crunch the numbers, not have to visit with people was my thought. Did this internship, and it was just a good intro to kind of one-on-one. So I like the personal setting, small group, a little bit more comfortable with. So enjoyed the finance side versus the just purely the number crunching, although I do enjoy that too. But yeah, it was always numbers and math.
Are you not a people person?
My wife probably wouldn't say I am.
Well, that's because she totally is.
Correct. Yes.
So you
which kind of goes hand in hand. She's she is much more extroverted. I am very introverted, but in
Opposites
a small
attract.
setting. Yeah, exactly. They do. But small setting. A couple people, that's my comfort level.
Well, there's only 2 of us in here, so
Yep.
you should be right at home. I'm curious to ask you. You go up north to college, or I'm sorry, to South Dakota. You came back, and you're raising a family now. You're very settled in Tracy in the Belton area. What made you come back here, or what was your motivation to come back to your home base here?
Yeah, and really for Lexi and myself was always family was very important to us, still is very important to us. Again, grew up in Ballatin, her family's in Tracy. So always wanted to be very close. We've always kind of viewed, a lot of times what we see is friends will maybe go up to the cities, go to bigger areas, but oftentimes they have kids and go, I kind of like the small town, and they end up, sometimes make their way back here.
Yeah.
We knew that would be the case, and we love living here, and it was a good fit too. I was already doing the internship and had a career that I was excited about, so it worked out where we really didn't look anywhere else. We always kind of knew this where we wanted to come back. If you know my wife, she's very loyal and dedicated to Tracy and all about Tracy, so that would have been a tough decision to go away anyways, but it was always for us. We knew we wanted to end here, so we figured, well, let's just get back there as soon as we can.
So you were high school sweethearts, right?
Yes,
Did she go to college in Northern State?
she did.
Okay. Did you follow each other? Or? I'm
I
getting a
suppose
little
that probably
personal here.
makes- Yes, I suppose we went there at the same time and we left at the same time. So yes, we
Okay.
did follow each other. Yes.
You tied at the hip. But it's worked out, obviously. Lexi's a great woman. Your kids are awesome, and we'll get into that a little bit later, talking about being a father to three little ones. But the reason we're here today is talking about ROYO, returning our youth outdoors. A lot of people listening to this will know exactly what ROYO is. It's been around a while. But let's talk about the inception of ROYO. When did it start, and what was that process like? Just, I'm curious. I'm visualizing a group of guys who love to hunt and love the outdoors sitting around saying something like, "Let's get the kids involved too." Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, for sure. And kind of the group of guys that it started from was COVID time. Minnesota Waterfowl Association had disbanded. We had a chapter here locally, and some of the guys from that, and I wasn't involved on that board, but some of the guys from that were kind of thinking, well, what do we do next? Do we try to replicate something like that, but more on a local level? And it kind of evolved into having a focus for kids specifically. And I'm not sure who actually got the credit for the name. There's probably a few that take it, but
Oh, we got a little controversy.
no, I
Do
guess
you-
I'm not starting a controversy, but
Why not?
I was
I love
not one of
controversy.
them. So I will say I don't have any credit to it, but
I'm gonna get to the bottom of that
Okay.
bottom of that someday for sure.
but ROYO, Returning Youth Outdoors. I mean, it just kind of was a good, quick, easy name to say, but also it really is truly behind the meaning of what we want to do. And we started meeting 2020, and we're trying to figure out what's a good first event that we can put on. And I think I have it down. July of 2021 was when we had our first event, which was a fishing event. And I think something that was always important to us early on was we want kids to have access to things they can do outdoors. We want them to come to our event, gain the knowledge of how to do it. And if they can go away with some equipment or some tools for that, even better. And so that first event, we decided to do Swift Lake here in town. And to be honest, we thought maybe we'll catch a couple goldfish, maybe we'll catch some bullheads, and maybe we'll have, 10 to 15 kids show up. I can't remember what the exact number was, but it was way more than 10 to 15 kids.
I
And
remember
it was
that.
way more than bullheads and goldfish. I don't think we actually caught a goldfish, but panfish, perch. We did catch some bullheads, but it was couldn't have been a better start to the group. And we knew probably halfway through that event that not only was this something that people were excited about, but something that people were looking for. I can remember there was a family that came up to me and said, "Hey, we've never taken our kids fishing before. We've always talked about it. We just didn't know where to start." And we had the fishing poles, and I'm putting worms on the hooks for all their kids, and they're catching their first fish, taking pictures, and it's like, all right, this is exactly what we wanted.
And that's the perfect testimony. That's all you need right there. Because
Exactly.
you talk about the kids, which is the basis of this group, but it's also the parents too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've sometimes people who are sportsmen who do this stuff, kind of take for granted that, well, you got a fishing pole in the garage, you can go grab a fishing pole and go fish, and your dad and your uncles and they all fish or hunt, and it's just you just get into it. But it's not the case for everybody, right? And not everyone has the means to get around and buy these things, and so for us, it was always we want the events to be free. We want them to show up if they've never done it, don't have equipment, don't know what it is, and they can learn it. And like I said, if we've had some events where we've given fishing poles away and tackle boxes away. And so, as much as this group is for the kids that are already in this stuff and already excited, I feel it's as much for the kids who don't have the exposure, but, maybe could get that exposure through us.
And it's not just hunting, is it?
No.
We're talking, you could go out to the golf course, right?
Absolutely. I think there was definitely early on, hunting fishing was, I think a big part of it, and it still is a big part of it today, but it really morphed into maybe just this thought of let's get kids outside, off their phones, and let's get them doing something that they can continue. If that is, biking, if that's playing golf, whatever it might be, we just want to get them outside, and get them moving. So we've put on, fishing events, ice fishing events. We've done every year a golf event. We had a pool party this year. So just it doesn't have to be the traditional hunt and fishing, although we definitely lean towards those events. But it's just getting them outside.
Talk about, it's educational too, I think. The hands-on aspect. I know, was it a couple years ago or maybe the last couple of years, you've had this
Hmm.
wood duck house building event at the caboose.
Yep.
What was that like? When I went out there to shoot photos, I just saw the kids. They were so crazy excited about being able to build something.
Yeah.
When not just watching someone build something, but talk about that aspect about bringing the kids in, luring the kids in. That was my pun. I intended totally,
Yep.
and having them do these activities.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've done a couple times wood duck house building. We actually one year veered off a little bit and did bluebird house, just to kind of mix it up. But the same concept of, yeah, we want them to be involved. There's might seem pretty simple to, hey, put something together, but for a young kid, that's something they probably have never done,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
very little. But then also to take that and understand what they built and kind of what it's for. And so, that's been something that we're also trying to expand on, specifically with the wood duck houses. We've kind of had it where we've had them build it and they take it home, and that's great. But a lot of times they probably don't know what to do with it, right? Or where do you put it, right?
yeah,
You can put it in the backyard. So we're working on a plan to have some locations where we can put them out, and we can have the kids come and actually see, hey, putting the sawdust in the box, and
yeah.
next year changing it out and seeing the eggs from the previous year. So we are working on that as a kind of an ongoing event. But yeah, they're, even just the side of them building the wood duck house, even if it sits at the house and collects dust, them to be able to put that together was an experience for them.
Yeah, they built it. That's a little bit of a pride and ownership type of thing for these,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. It's very cool. And it's got to be nice for you too, because you're a father, of course. And we talked a little bit before we started this podcast about when my parents were raising me back then in the 70s, 80s. We went outside. We were outside all the time. And we would be gone all day, and we would come home when it got dark out.
Yep.
That's how it used to be. We had no other distractions as far as technology goes. Sometimes we'd have, we'd play a little Atari or Nintendo or whatever, but today kids are bombarded, and you can argue addicted to their phone because
Yep.
it's always on them. Maybe not young like little Hattie or Leo, but
Yeah.
they'll get there, trust me. And that's got to be a battle for parents these days to get them outside.
Yeah.
Because you can get inside and you can get, like I said, addicted and just kind of a routine that you don't go outside much.
Yeah.
So what's it like for you as a dad knowing what's to come kind of
Yeah.
with your kids?
And this is something me and my wife spent a lot of time talking about. Actually, I'm reading a book right now that is, and I might butcher the title, but it's essentially an outside world for an inside kid.
Okay.
I might be off slightly, but it's all about kind of like we just discussed, kids nowadays of having their phones, having their TVs, having their tablets, and also just not getting out as much. And so, we've really tried to focus on what are some things that we can do on a consistent basis to get outside and just engage with that.
Yeah.
And again, that all ties back into these type of events. And for them, it's finding something that they are excited about. An easy one in is fishing, but that maybe isn't always something that excites people, right? Maybe it's hiking, maybe it's biking, maybe it's frisbee golf, whatever it is, getting outside and engaging and finding ways for them to engage with the outside world is really something we've tried. Not that we've mastered it by any means, but we always kind of joke like, well, our kids are never getting a phone. When they move out, they can figure that out, and we'll try to hold to it. But I think even more than that, it's still finding ways, if they do have the phone, how do you get them engaged with something outside of that, and getting them outdoors, getting them moving.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with technology
Yeah.
and phones, but striking that balance, I think, is really difficult, and
For
that's
sure.
where ROYO comes in.
Yep.
And the cool part about it when I shoot photos at these events is the kids' faces, because everything you do, it's such a wide range. There's no way that when you add them all up, there are events that kids don't like. There's going to be something. If
Yep.
they don't like golf, fine, but at least they tried it.
Yep.
If they don't like fishing, fine.
Yep.
You go to the fall festival and there's bouncy houses.
Yep.
You know, what kid doesn't like bouncy houses?
Yeah.
Is that the coolest thing, that fall festival that you do in at the park at
Yeah.
Sebastian Park? That's got to be just
Yeah.
what a day, and you guys are getting really lucky with the weather too.
Oh yeah, we are. Yes, that's been a good. We've had 3 now, and yeah, it's kind of our take on kind of the fall festival that you traditionally think of, and have a lot of the same things, but we've expanded, and I think that's definitely an area that we're excited about growing and adding to. But yeah, it's all about what we're excited about, getting them outdoors. Yeah, bouncy houses, inflatables. You know, we've got the last 2 years we've borrowed this kind of inflatable bow and arrow
Yep.
station where they can hit these floating balls out of the air. There's a inflatable BB gun station where maybe sounds a little weird that you're inside of inflatable shooting BB guns, but it works and it's got it protected. But you can shoot to this screen and they can take it home. And yeah, that's been an awesome event that we've put on, and something that we expect to expand on. But just as it is right now, something that I think people are looking forward to in the fall.
I see kids when I went last year and actually year before that, maybe every year. There are kids who are at these stations, the bow and arrow, the BB guns. They would stay there for hours if there wasn't a line.
Yep.
I mean, they are so into it, and I think that it's a confirmation of what you guys have done, I think, and maybe they won't be a bow and arrow hunter when they grow up. Like I said, fine, but at least they're having that experience that they otherwise wouldn't have, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that we kind of look at, hey, we're gonna try to cast a wide net. We're gonna have different events, and hopefully there's something that someone connects with and continue it. And again, it's exposure, access, and then if we can get the equipment in their hands to where I know where to go, I know how to do it, and I have the tools to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a good chance they're going to continue.
Very good chance, and you feed them too.
And we feed them, yeah. And that's always been something, almost every event, and I look at it 2 ways. One, well, kids are usually hungry, right? We got to keep them fed. But again, we want people to show up and not have to worry about anything, right? And we might have some people that maybe don't have access to the meals all the time, and if they can show up to our event and get a meal and do something, that's a bonus.
And they come with empty stomachs, but they leave with full hands, don't they? They always are taking something with them.
Yep.
And they're not buying it. Their parents aren't buying it.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
What's some of the stuff that they get, like fishing rods and rods and reels?
So we've done a few different ones. One year we had a nice fishing event where we had a limited number, but we actually had a few left over where they got a fishing bucket, they got an ice rod, they got a tackle box with tackle in it. Most of our events we're going to have a drawing where they can enter just by showing up. And so it kind of goes back to we just want to get stuff in their hands, right? We want to get equipment and tools any way that we can, and we want to show them how to use it. And yeah, we don't want a restriction to be money,
No.
And so, which we'll talk about in a little bit here with the banquet of, well, it takes some money to do this stuff, right? Well, how are we doing that?
I was going to get
outside
into
of-
fundraising. You segued for me, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Where does the money come from?
Yeah, so
Because it's not cheap.
it's not cheap, no. And we've been very fortunate that we have had tremendous sponsors and a membership base. But really, all of our fundraising comes in one night at our banquet. This will be our 5th banquet coming up. But that is solely where our funds are coming from.
How does that happen? I mean, people tickets. I'm assuming.
Yep. So the one event where I say you have to pay to get in is this. And so we have sponsorship levels. We have a $250 and a $500 sponsorship level, mainly coming from businesses. But we do have families that just say, hey, I want to give more than maybe the membership, so they'll do a sponsorship. Last year we had roughly 50 sponsors between the two different levels. And then to enter the banquet, you have to be a member, and it's $30, regardless if you're a single person showing up or you got a family of 12. It's $30 to be a member, and the membership, we always say, doesn't do anything for the rest of the year in terms of you have to show, to get into events. We might have some limited events where maybe we'll open it up to members first, but it doesn't necessarily dictate getting into the events throughout the year. So then we have people sometimes say, well, then why do I got to have a membership? And we say, well, this is really the one time of the year where for that $30, you're saying, hey, we love the events you're doing. We want to see more of it. This is our contribution to it. And then you show up to all the events you want, or anybody can show up. So that's really where we do our fundraising. And that allows us to do the projects and the different events throughout the year.
I think Tracy's getting a good reputation, if it hasn't gotten it years ago, of throwing really good banquets, whether it's the chamber, the winter warm-up with St. Mary's, and you guys too. It's not just we're just going to sit here and we're going to wait, listen to some speaker, then we're going to eat, then we're going to go home. Let's go into what not a lot of banquets are built around kids. So what do you do to keep these kids going?
Yeah, so that's, again, back to the focus. I mean, this event has really been a dual of, one, this is our fundraising night. So, there are some things we put on that are more adult-focused in your traditional, what you think of, silent auctions and things like that. But as much as it is that, it's getting kids access, again, to this different equipment. So we have couple different kids games. We rotate them throughout the year, but we always tell people not only do we, not only are kids allowed, they're encouraged to come, right? And you think of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Ducks Unlimited banquets, great banquets. They're great organizations, but most of the time, mom and dad just want to go out, and they're probably not bringing the kids along.
Right.
This is different, right? We want them to come along because they're going to get a goodie bag when they walk in, just full of stuff. They're going to get into raffles and different events, that doesn't cost anything. And then if they want to go play some games to win some other prizes, usually it's $1 a time. So, usually pretty affordable if you want to play a couple games. And then we have specific kids tables for general raffle. So it's a dual raising money, kind of your traditional, what you think of a banquet, but as much geared towards kids, and hopefully they leave with a bunch of stuff in their hands.
You should say parents are allowed.
Yes.
Kids need to come.
Yes.
Parents, you can come if you want.
Yeah, exactly. It would be good if we keep an eye on them, so parents probably are allowed to. So
we'll let them in just to supervise a little bit. So when and where is this banquet coming up?
Yep. So it's going to be March 14th, and we'll be at the Caboose. In the last, when we first started out, we kind of had the back room, and then we said, hey, I think we need a little bit more, and then we need a little bit more. And
you
now
took over the Caboose.
We have the whole thing. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and after a couple banquets, I think they realized we needed the space as well. So it's been a good spot to host it, but we have the whole place, and we need it when we have the kids' games and everything's spalled out.
It's spread out all over. Time on
Yep,
the March 14th banquet?
I can verify that here, but generally we have 4 o'clock is when the doors open, and then we have a meal. So we always kind of look at, we do have a lot of kids there, and everyone knows the banquet where it runs on, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, when's this getting over? So we try to be a little efficient with it. We've made some changes, but 4 o'clock, eat at 6, start drawing from there, and wrap her up.
Where can we get tickets, Shane?
Yeah, so if you check our Facebook page, we do have a website, and if you go to the Facebook page, you can find the website, but that's where you can get your tickets. You can buy your memberships, your sponsors on there, or you can always show up to the door the night of. We haven't had to cut down on capacity, but we're getting close. So we would encourage if you could do it ahead of time so we got a good number. Otherwise, you can always do it at the door.
That's a good problem to have, though. I
It
mean,
is a good problem to have.
that,
Yep.
that means you guys are doing something right. Shane, you are off the hot seat. Thanks for joining me today.
All right. Thanks, Barry.